Hi everyone, Cold On here with another Vox Immortalis commentary guide. This video is for the Faster Than the Speed of Light achievement in Halls of Origination, and it's part of the Bran Bronzebeard hallway encounter, and it requires that you clear this entire hallway, which basically means kill all 4 elementals within 5 minutes. It's not too difficult of an achievement, but it's pretty gear dependent, and more importantly it's just DPS dependent. So if your DPS is strong and you are efficient with your movement and traveling, then you shouldn't have too much trouble. But unfortunately, you only get 1 attempt per instance to actually try it. There's no way to reset it that I know of, except perhaps soft resetting the instance, which would be a pain, obviously. So because of that, it's good to have some planning. So for example, when we do this, we always go to the right. Make sure every time you're moving, you're hugging the walls, because that will just lower the chance you'll aggro additional packs of trogs. Other thing you'll see is when an elemental is low health, we start pulling it away and going to the other location. And this just allows dots, and if you have melee DPS, those things to keep dealing damage and killing the elemental, but you're actually moving to your next spot. So that's one way to increase your efficiency. The only exception is probably if you're fighting the water elemental. You don't want to do that, because someone could get a bubble cast on them as you're moving, and anyone that's in a bubble will not be able to break out, most likely. So they could die if you're running away from them. But other than that, it's pretty safe to move away as you're finishing off elementals. Also use your cooldowns at proper times. You don't obviously want to waste cooldowns as you're running or while you're killing trogs, anything like that. Elementals have 1.3 million health, so any elemental fight as you're starting is a good time to use a cooldown. And you can see here we're hugging the wall again, so we avoid that middle pack, and then we basically just keep moving. Tanks should have no trouble picking up and holding threat on all the trogs, even the elite ones. There's always 2 stronger ones in each pack, but they all have fairly weak health. So you saw right there, if our group had not hugged the wall and stayed tight, we would have aggroed that roamer pack. So again, it's just stick together and keep moving as much as you can. The elementals themselves are pretty weak. I'm sure everyone's fought them before. The Raging Inferno is pretty dangerous for melee, so make sure you run out for that. And then, as I mentioned, the bubble effect from the water elemental. Those are really the only 2 things that could kill anyone. Also, don't be afraid to fight trogs and elementals at the same time. There's no downside to it. Your tank should be able to easily use 2 to 3 big cooldowns during this 5-minute run. And obviously, if you have shorter cooldowns, you can use those more often. But essentially, you should be able to use 1 to 2 cooldowns per elemental without much trouble. So if you need to fight a trog pack while you're fighting elementals, then don't be afraid to do that. And so here we come to the last elemental, the water one in this case. The elementals spawn randomly, so the order you fight them in will not be the same every time. So just kind of, use your basic strategies for all bosses and spread around. Watch for effects that might endanger you, like bubble or the Inferno as mentioned. And otherwise just make use of your cooldowns. Obviously if you are under-geared or you haven't done this yet, you might want to use Bloodlust on one of the more difficult elementals. I recommend this one, but it's up to you. And really there isn't much more to add to it. Just utilize the open space as you're running around. That's the best thing, because any additional packs of trogs is just wasted time. Depending on your group's DPS, you may spend 5 or 10 seconds per pack of trogs that you pull that you don't need to. And so I think this was around 4 minutes and 40 or 4:45. So obviously if we had 1 or 2 more packs, we may have been over the timer. And then you just have to wait, and you'll get credit once the boss starts to emote. So, good luck, and thanks for watching.